What's up, everybody? I'm back with another movie review, and this one is of Rampage, a 2018 film that gave me huge vibes from Jurassic World and King Kong. You probably heard of it. I remember seeing trailers for this movie. We decided to watch it last minute to finish off our Dwayne Johnson marathon. Basically, what it is like these three, like there was this research ship in the space, crash lands with an escape pod with like some substances that crash land into different places of the world. Animals find them, break them open, they get sprayed with this liquid like a gorilla, a wolf, and a crocodile get to them, and then they all become mutants and terrorize Chicago of all cities. Like, the headquarters for the place that made the substances was in Chicago, so that's probably why they attacked Chicago. But that was a weird city to put it in. Really, it was a really weird city to put it all in. But oh well. And then what the gorilla is part of a sanctuary controlled, and it's like Dwayne Johnson's like the Chris Pratt for these gorillas, and then so they communicates with this guy, and then they get, then they all crash together and whatever, and then he controls them with the antidote, and then they fight. And big action movie here with some heartfelt moments in it as well, which was really cool. We all watched it for the first time, so we all got our first reactions out of it, and I got some stuff to say, so let's begin. One of my things is, it was an albino gorilla, and it was an albino, so it's a white gorilla, last of its kind, and we get the backstory on it, and I think it was a enjoyable movie to watch. I thought the backstory for the gorilla was fine. It's weird how they didn't pick the San Diego Zoo, but they picked a random sanctuary in San Diego. I understand why they chose that, because it's a rescue and trying to get it accustomed to the new group, but San Diego Zoo would have been a more popular location, been more recognizable to the viewers. So why not just pick that? I don't know, man. It came out in 2018. Who knows? One of my biggest complaints, though, is the fact that the gorilla doesn't grow as big as the wolf or the crocodile. And also the gorilla. What happens basically is the wolf, besides the wolf being, a giant wolf, it also is part bat and part porcupine. What? So basically, it can fly like a bat, and it also shoots spikes out like a porcupine. No explanation for why that is at all. There's also this crocodile turns like this huge Sarcosuchus type thing, with like warthog tusks and like huge rows of teeth, and then it's got like fins, and it's crazy. This thing turns into a huge mutant, and they collide and everything. It's super weird how that works, and they never. And then they try and give some backstory on like the substance that made them the mutants, and there's some investigating into that. We never really get a full explanation for why the gorilla, the wolf, and the Sarco decide to work with each other. Until, of course, Dwayne Johnson makes the wolf and the Sarco fight, and then the gorilla get the antidote, and then the gorilla fights everything else. I don't get really quite an explanation for why that is, but we need some more explanations of that, especially the two antagonists of this movie. They are two of the most awkward, worst antagonists I have ever seen, ever. And they are direct rip on Jurassic World. They've got so many rips on this movie, like the security cam scene with the raptors, and even really in the Indominus attack, that's parodied with the wolf attack, when they try to get the wolf. And then them like being in this like lab that they direct with, the lady's name is freaking Claire. How can it be more obvious? It's so crazy. Like, come on. And then where do I get the King Kong from? Well, of course, the giant gorilla. I think that's a pretty good association to King Kong. They climb it's the Sears Tower. I'm gonna call it the Sears Tower because I don't know what it's actually called now, but as a reference to climbing the Empire State Building. Probably it's not really played on as much as I expected it to be when I realized what was going on. But there you go. So that was, I guess just the mutant gorilla part. I think that's all I really can connect to King Kong. But also why? So I don't know why. There's some technicalities there, and also the Sears Tower collapses, but there's like no damage done to the rest of the city. They want to drop a nuke on the city, and like, would they ever really consider dropping a nuke on home soil, especially a city like Chicago? Would they ever want to drop a nuke on them if there's just 3 mutants that for some reason are immune to gunfire? We don't get an explanation about that either. Like, again, that would have all that, because this all could have been solved by just explaining from these geneticist people that made this stuff that we don't really get a full explanation of, which really sucks. Then there's this cowboy dude who works for the military and stuff like that, and he ends up becoming like an ally, and he's just kind of a douche the entire movie, but it's like a guy you can't root for, but you can't hate either, because he saves the characters and saves Chicago because they don't drop a nuke on him. But can you really root for him? Because he's so much of a douche. It's crazy. He does some funny stuff, like with the main thing. The lady gets eaten by the gorilla, which was pretty funny to watch. And then the guy gets squished by some debris outside of the Sears Tower before it collapses. And the cowboy guy has a part in that, which is pretty funny. Man, this movie, though, it was enjoyable. Very enjoyable to watch. I would probably watch it again. I forgot to talk about the ending. The ending is the weirdest part, because they fight the Sarcosuchus. The Sarco bites the wolf's neck. It rips its head off. That's how the wolf dies. And then the gorilla kills the Sarcosuchus, and the Sarco like shoves the gorilla in, and it impales itself on its chest. The gorilla rips that pale thing out of its chest and uses it to stab straight through the Sarco's head, killing it. After missiles get launched into the Sarco, that doesn't work. Fire bombs get launched into the Sarco, that doesn't work either. But no, a metal post going through its head, that definitely will work. And it gets the kill. And then the gorilla fake dies. And there was some humor at the beginning of the movie that they hint on. Dwayne Johnson's like, well, have you, you get my gun? And then he just like fucking flips him off. And then at the end of the movie, the gorilla pretends to die and gets Dwayne to cry, and then gorilla flips him off again. It's fucking hilarious, dude. The gorilla became a really good character for me. I really enjoyed that gorilla. It was fun to watch their relationship and everything like that. Also, some other complaints about some of the technicalities of the movie. They survive a plane crash, a helicopter crash, crashing down the Sears Tower. Dwayne gets shot in the hip. Does absolutely nothing to him. Okay. Like, there were so many things where the points where they should have died, but because they're main characters, they don't. And that's one of my main complaints about these like more recent action movies, is these characters are put in certain death situations just so they can show off that they're the main characters, so they can't die. And that is so bad. And I really hope that they fix that going forward, but they probably won't, because it gets money. And that's the whole thing about this, is it just makes money. But again, this is a film that I probably would watch again, if people wanted to. I'll probably give it a good 7 out of 10. That's a good ranking for it for me. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this movie review of Rampage. If you've seen it, comment down below your thoughts about the movie, and stay tuned for much more amazing content coming to you. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.